Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm sick, so this January I read 16 things. Not all of them are like books, so yeah, okay, I'll explain. I read 13 books, and I read 2 poetry chapbooks, and I read like a series of comic. Yes, okay, let's get into it. The first book I read this January was To All the Boys I've Loved Before. I'm gonna put the picture up here. I don't have any of these with me because I read them all either like online, like an ebook or an audiobook, or I like got them from the library. So yeah, because I'm frugal. Yes. So the first one I read was To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, and I enjoyed it. It was a 3 stars for me. It's basically, I'm not sure if you guys have watched the Netflix movie, but they did an adaptation, I think it was last year, or maybe like last year now, I don't remember. And it's basically about this girl, Lara Jean Covey, who is the middle of 3 sisters, and she writes a letter to a boy she likes when it gets kind of like out of hand, and she just keeps them all in this little box in her room, and this one day they get sent out, and the book is kind of dealing with like the fact that all these letters have been sent out that she never intended to send out, and it's a romance, and like the kind of fallout from that happening and how she deals with it. I didn't really love the writing in this book. I did enjoy the story, but I prefer reading books in which I really like the characters and then I can just kind of sit through whatever. But I didn't really love Lara Jean in this. I actually think she was kind of a bitch. So, I don't know, take that how you like. It was a 3 stars for me. I don't think I will be reading the next 2 books in the series just because I don't really see like a logically like good place to go with conflict right now, because like it's probably gonna be romance related. That's what I think anyway, that it's probably gonna be romance related, and I don't really want to see any more kind of romance related conflict in this world. I don't think anything good can come of it, and I don't really want to watch like just drama unfold because I don't enjoy that. So yeah, I'm probably not gonna read the rest of those books, but yeah, it was enjoyable for what it was, and if you like the movie you might like the book too. So the next book I read was The Golden Compass by Philip Pullman, and this is the first book in his Dark Materials trilogy. I read this on audiobook, and it's basically in this world where there are these where every human has like a demon that accompanies them, and the demons can like shapeshift when you're younger, and when you get older they kind of settle into a specific shape, and it's kind of like a mystery with this thing called dust, and the main character is a girl who just finds out about that, and she gets kind of like thrown into this world that she doesn't really understand, and she has to like figure out what's going on, and yeah, like make sure all her friends like don't die and stuff. It's a children's book, so the main character is like 11, I think. I rated this book 3 stars. I liked it. I think it was more of just a case of the right book at the wrong time. I've had this series on my TBR since I was like 11 years old, and I got really into reading. I just like got carried away and I didn't read it until now, and yeah, I think I would have liked this a lot more if I was just younger. So that's pretty much my only like big issue with it. Everything else is like just like small nitpicks, and I don't really want to nitpick a book that I did like. So yeah, there's that. The third book I read this January, which I've actually been trying to read for well over a year, was the collected poems of Emily Dickinson, by Emily Dickinson, obviously. And it's just, I don't remember who exactly it is who like curated, like, you know, like the order and categories and stuff for her poems, but it's basically just like a bunch of poems by Emily Dickinson, and they're all in a book. And then I read them, and I checked this book out like sometime last year, around January, February, I think, and I've had it on my shelf for so long because I really can't like get through poetry books quickly at all, like, because, you know, I feel like with poetry you just kind of have to let it sit in your brain for a while, and then yeah. So because of that, I just kind of read like a little bit sometimes, and then I like let it be, and then I finally got to the end during January, and I was like, oh good, like I'm done with this. I can finally stop like borrowing it for another 4 months from my university library again. I rated this book 3 stars. I enjoyed it. I just think reading a lot of poetry at once is very odd, so I think that's just like the experience of that for me personally is like, it's just so weird that I couldn't rate this more than 3 stars, even though I do really like Emily Dickinson's poetry, and just like by itself the poems I think are really good. Generally, yeah, yes. For a book like this, I would have like much preferred to just take a class that's like Emily Dickinson's poetry and then like analyze them in class, because I love doing that with poetry, but you know, I haven't done that, and I don't even know if we have a class like that on campus, so whatever, it's fine. I read it, it was good. Let's move on. The next book I want to talk about is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, and this is the first book in the Shades of Magic series, and it's this world where there are 4 different Londons, and a limited number of people with like specific magical abilities can travel between the Londons, and pretty much nothing is the same about these worlds apart from the fact that there's like a London in like the same geographical location in all of the worlds. So it follows this dude named Kel who can travel between the Londons. There are some magical things going on that maybe shouldn't strictly be going on, and Kel is like trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. I really enjoy this book. I rated it 4 stars. It was really fun for me to read, and I also really enjoy the reading style. I also really enjoy the writing style, and I just really loved the characters. Like, I think I've only read 1 book by V.E. Schwab, but she's given me good vibes. I'm definitely gonna read the rest of the series, and then also some other stuff probably if I like the rest of the series, which I'm just assuming that I will. And yeah, that's basically it. It was good. I like it, and I'm gonna read the rest of it now. like literally now, because I've borrowed the second one in the series and my phone is currently resting on it even though you can't see it. So yeah, it was good. I'm excited to see what happens next. The next book I read, I'm actually going to talk about the series as a whole because I read the whole series in the month of January, and that is The Raven Cycle by Maggie stiefvater, and I love this series so much. I'm just gonna give you a quick little blurb situation. There is this girl named Blue Sargent, and her whole and her family and female friends that she and her mom live with are pretty much all of them are psychics, apart from Blue. But Blue's power is that she can amplify psychic abilities when she's with them or around them. And then the story kind of picks up when Blue meets these guys from a super rich people's school, and they're doing some kind of magic shenanigans. They're trying to look for this magic stuff in this town, and Blue kind of goes along for the ride, and it's basically about that. It's kind of hard to describe, at least for me, but yeah, okay, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I had a great time reading it. I read all of them in 8 days. I read 2 of them in a day each. So yeah, it was really fun. I rated the first one and the last one 4 stars, and then the middle 2 I rated them 5 stars. I don't want to talk too long about them right now because first of all, I'm sick and I'm worried about my throat. But second of all, this is recording. It is recording. I hope I didn't mess up my framing. So yeah, I also want to do just a separate talking about the Raven Cycle kind of video, because I have so many things to say, and most of those things are to do with spoilers, and I don't want to have any spoilers in a wrap-up video because come on. So yeah, I'm just gonna talk about them later. Excuse me, that's the AC. I thought I turned it off, but apparently I didn't. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to talk about it further in an upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. So the next book I read was Across the Universe by Beth Revis, and I rated this at 2 stars. I'll get to that in a second. It's basically about all of these people have been cryogenically frozen and sent on kind of a multi-generational voyage across the stars, and there's a skeleton crew who's staying on the ship doing stuff while the other people are cryogenically frozen asleep. Yeah, and at one point there's a malfunction, and one of the characters who was frozen many years ago has been woken up, and the things on the ship are not as they seem. So she's working with this dude that she meets on the ship to figure out what's going on and save her ship from whatever the things are. I was gonna originally rate this book a 3 stars, but then the author did something at the end that I really just didn't like, and it kind of I just hated it so much. I was I'm not enjoying this book anymore. This is not fun. But then it was over by then, so I was at least it's over. I don't think I will be reading the rest of this series. I just really didn't like enjoy that kind of direction with the story. So yeah. So the next book I read was Good Bones by Margaret Atwood. This is basically a short story collection by Margaret Atwood, although I do think it's less short stories and more kind of like stream of consciousness and also like character profiles. But yeah, it's just a collection of those. It was pretty quick to get through, only took me about an hour. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I rated it a 3 stars, mostly because there were some that just like didn't really stick the landing for me. So as a whole, I consider the book a 3 stars, but like all of the individual short stories have like different ratings for me in my brain. Yeah, my favorite one was The Female Body. I thought it was really good. I think that specific kind of writing by Margaret Atwood, I just really enjoy it. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. It was fun. It was good. And yeah. The next one I read was an audiobook, and that was Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. And I really liked it. It was a 3 stars, mostly because I watched the movie and I already like knew how it went, so I wasn't like shooketh. I think with other Agatha Christies have been like shooketh at the end, but I wasn't shooketh because I already knew what was happening. But that wasn't because Agatha Christie's writing isn't good. Like, I still had like no idea what was going on like in the story. Even though I already knew the story, I was like, how is this fitting together? And I just like, every time I got like one thing, I was like, yes, oh my god, I'm so proud of myself. And it just like, it comes together really well. I didn't say what this book is about. It's basically about Hercule Poirot is going on the Orient Express, like the train, and it's full, which is unusual for the season. And then one of the passengers in the train gets murdered while they're like caught in a snowdrift, and he's like trying to figure out who did it because he's a detective. And that's basically what it's about. Yeah, it was a 3 stars. It was really good. I really liked it. And yeah, let's move on to the next thing. So the next 2 things I read were 2 poetry chapbooks, which I actually got like PDF copies of from my friends who wrote the chapbooks, like back when they actually published them, and I was just like going through my stuff and like rereading a bunch of old stuff, and I saw those and I was like, oh yes, I remember this, so I like reread them. I didn't rate them, mostly because they're very short and they're also like my friends' thing, so I just feel really weird about rating them. So yeah, I didn't rate them, but I enjoyed them. They were called 11-12 and Teething Season for New Skin. And now I'm gonna move on because I feel really weird discussing stuff that I actually know the creators of on my YouTube channel. So the next thing I read was Arusha and the End of Time by Roshani Chokshi, and it's basically like Percy Jackson-esque, except instead of with Greek mythology, it's with Hindu mythology. Like the main character is a young girl, and a boy, is a young girl named Arusha, and she, and there's like this cursed lamp. It's not a lamp, it's like a candle. She lights this cursed lamp because she wants to like, you know, because she's like 11 or maybe like 12, I don't know how old she is, and she wants to like be like cool in the eyes of her classmates who are super rich, and she's not super rich, and they find her, and she's like, okay, I'll like light this lamp. She lights the lamp, magical shenanigans ensue, and she's basically like has to save the world, as it usually goes in these things. She has a bird sidekick, and she also has another like fellow girl who she befriends, and then they do some things. I rated it 3 stars. I think half of that was just because whoever the narrator was just didn't know how to pronounce like Daisy things, and being a Daisy myself, I was like, I could have done that. Like, it was so annoying. I had to like stop my audiobook and just like go back and listen to it again and be like, what are you talking about? Because I didn't like understand the accent for like, you know, why don't you hire someone who can do the accent for something where it's like actually super important? Yeah, that was really annoying, but that was like an audiobook only thing, so maybe if I just read it in paper, it would have been better, but I didn't do that, and I listened to it on audiobook, so that's the experience that I had. I don't think I will be reading the rest of these, just because I don't really care that much about the characters, no offense. But yeah, I think it might just be that I'm too old for it, but yeah, I didn't really find myself caring about the characters. I thought Arusha was like kind of like stupid and annoying, but that's also maybe just because she's 11. So yeah, maybe I should just not read so much children's fiction, but there's a lot of it on my TBR, and I don't really want to cross all of it off my list without reading it, so I'm just going to keep doing this to myself until I decide that I don't want to read any more children's books because they're all really annoying. Next thing that I read was Heartstopper by Alice Oseman, and I read volumes 1 to 3, which is why Goodreads is like counting it as 3 different things. So yeah, I guess for my like 100 bucks challenge, I will also do that. I'm just gonna follow what Goodreads says because yeah. So Heartstopper is basically a comic about these 2 boys, Charlie and Nick, and they gay. Well, Nick is bi. This is a spoiler, but it's fine. It's okay. And they like each other, and it's about that, and it's really cute, and yeah, I really liked it, and it's really cute, so yeah. Yes, I enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. It was so cute. I could not handle myself. It took me like an hour plus something to get through it. It was really good. That's all I have to say about it. It was just really cute and it was really good. And I love Alice Oseman. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the one book that I DNF'd, which is Shatter Me by... Who was Shatter Me by? Excuse me, ma'am. Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi. I hope I pronounced that right. This book sucks, mostly because, listen, I listened to this book for like 17 minutes on double speed, so maybe it gets better after that, but I don't really want to find out because I was bored out of my mind. It starts off in like this prison where the main character is like kind of going mad because she hasn't talked to anyone in a really long time, and then she gets introduced to this other character who like gets put in the same like prison cell as her, and then they're just, for the whole time that I listened to this book, it was just like those 2 characters having character interactions, and I would be fine with that because I'm more of a character-driven reader, but I just don't care about either of those characters. They were so boring to me that I was so sick of hearing them talk to each other and nothing was happening, and I was like, listen, I can't sit through this. I need to stop. So yeah, then I stopped listening to that book, and there's that. And the last book I read which is not actually the last book, like chronologically, but emotionally it is. And that was the Scorch Trials by James Dashner. Why did my accent suddenly change? Anyway, so it was the Scorch Trials by James, whatever. And I rated this book a 1 star. It's the second one in the Maze Runner trilogy, and I liked the Maze Runner back when I read it like 500 years ago, but I just like, every time I tried to read the Scorch Trials, I just like didn't like get past a certain point in the book. I've tried it like a couple of times. So I borrowed the audiobook, and I was like, okay, maybe it'll be like better this time. Maybe I'll like, you know, have like a better experience with the book. I finished it, but I did not enjoy it. It was not fun. I don't know what it is about what James Dashner is trying to do, but like, it's just not good. I'm sorry. It's just so bad. I just don't care about any of the characters like at all. Teresa does not play like a super big part in it. Like, she's not there for a lot of it, even though like they talk about her and stuff. And Thomas just keeps going back to being like, oh, Teresa, and I'm just like, I don't care. She's not here. Like, you're in this life or death situation, and all you can think about is a stupid girl. Like, I know, okay, I've been 16 before, but like, move on, babe. She's not here. Like, let's get out of this thing and then think about it. And then like, when she does show up, I still don't care about her, because like, it just feels like she doesn't have a character anymore. Like, all the characters she had in the Maze Runner is like suddenly not there, and she's like completely a different person. Thomas's whole character is like worrying about Teresa. Minho and Newt don't have characters, and those are like the two most well-developed boys from like out of like that group of like gladers. So that's kind of yikes. And the new boy Eris, he doesn't have a character either. Like, they're just, none of them have characters, and I don't care about any of them. So yeah, it just really sucked to like listen to that. But then the only reason I was listening was I was like, okay, like, you know, he set up like all these mystery boxes, and he just keeps setting up more mystery boxes. So like, I'm assuming at the end of this book, I'm gonna get some answers about like, you know, what these things actually mean. And you don't get any answers. There's this bit at the end where Teresa's like, Thomas, there's like so much you don't know, and I'll tell you everything. And then she doesn't. And the book just ends, and there's like a new situation that's like completely alien, and I'm like, oh my god, another one? Like, I knew there was another book, but like, I don't know, I just want some answers. I'm not gonna keep reading your book if all you do is just give me more and more questions about what the hell is going on. Like, I'm not interested anymore. I'm bored, James Dashner, I'm bored. Okay, yeah, okay. Before I get carried away talking about how boring the Scorch Trials was, I'm just gonna call it a day, and I'm gonna stop recording now, because I need to like study, so, and also edit this video. Yeah, so that's that. Thank you for coming to my channel. Wait, no, that's not that. So yeah, okay, that's like 18 things this January that I read. So my 100 books thing is like going super well. I'm just really like enjoying myself so much, reading so much, that like I don't really realize how much I've read until I like open my Goodreads and I see like the little number in the corner, and I'm like, oh, this is like pretty good. But yeah, I'm so happy about reading so much, and I really want to keep it up for the rest of the year, because it's just like, I'm so happy. And I also have so many books I was like looking at my TBR yesterday, and I have so many books that I want to read this year that I'm excited about it. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's what I had to say. Okay, I'm done. Thank you for coming to my channel. Okay, bye.